What is up, guys? Bradmer here, bringing you guys your week uh, 4 match versus the Chicago Ursaring. I am your coach of the Grassy Raikous, OBA Season 3. Before this video starts, feel free to drop a like down below. It really helps me out, and also if you are new, subscribe as well. This match was insane, guys. My opponent had a very, very good team matchup. He had an insane amount of things I had to prepare for. Overall, pretty much a team matchup against mine. He had the overall better team that matches up against mine. I had a few things that didn't work to his draft, but he had a lot of counters to the certain mons and stuff like that. My opponent actually prepared very, very nicely as well. So props to my opponent. My opponent is actually undefeated so far, so I was hoping actually at least my goal was at least get at least if I did lose, get like a 2 or 1 or 2-0 loss if I did lose, because I knew he was a very, very good competitor. So far he's actually undefeated as well, so that says something right now, because pretty much everybody is has at least one loss now, except I think KPG I think doesn't have a loss. He's actually 3-0, and I think Chicago Ursaring. Also my first time playing him. He's actually been in a lot of other leagues, and he has not been in this league, so it's my first time playing him. Hopefully we make it to playoffs so I can play him again. This was one hell of a match. There was actually a DC mid-match as well, so we had to recreate all the battle things. A few things did get switched up. Actually, I got to burn him a mana fee, which in the end did matter, but I'm not quite sure how much it mattered, which I will go over in a bit. But my opponent had a very, very threatening draft. The reason why I did not bring Mega Absol this week is just because I was fearing the Scarfed Rachi and the Mega Banacham with the Priority Fake Out and the Bullet Punch. Pretty much killed Mega Absol anyways. My opponent was actually prepared for Mega Absol, so he did not bring the Mega Banacham or the Jirachi, which I was very, very surprised by. Instead, he's actually running a bulky Drapion, which he actually was made to counter Mega Absol. So props to my opponent actually preparing, but I did not bring it. So that does not mean it did not put in work, though. But he also had the Mule Tank there, which I was kind of scared of. Everything else, I guess, I kind of had a counter to. I wasn't really quite sure if he was going to bring the Scyther. Just assuming it had a decent matchup against Cress, he probably could have bring. He actually did bring the Scyther. I knew he was going to bring the Megaton, which I really struggle with electric types. I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to. Free agency is open now, so I'm going to actually have to probably try dipping into the free agency and get something that can counter electric types a lot better. The stuff I have right now, I have really no electric, like full immunity to electric. I need a ground type or something. That is one of the things that I really am struggling with so far this season. I need to fix that. I'm gonna probably fix that sometime this either end of this week or probably into the beginning of next week, because I need to fix this. If I keep having this kind of a downfall, I'm not going to be winning matches, and my opponents can bring stuff to counter that, and they know weakness to mine. So I need to fix this up. Gonna dip into the free agency probably, or maybe make a few trades and try fixing that electric and get something that can at least decently counter electric types. So Megaton was probably the biggest threat to me, and probably the thing I was scared of the most. Again, I do not have a solid response to it. I could have brought the Electivire, because Electivire does have the motor drive, but again, Garchomp sitting there waiting in the wings, it outspeeds no matter what. So basically it's just Garchomp bait, which is the reason why I did not bring it. Gonna go over my sets real quick and hop into this match. This match is a bit longer. Defensive Spiritomb, mainly this the only thing was really to counter Mega Metacham, because apart from like Fire Punch and Ice Punch and stuff like that and Bullet Punch, Mega Metacham's not going to really be touching this thing, so it was my dedicated Mega Metacham counter, which again he does not bring. So I guess the only thing it really counters is Garchomp and maybe Trevenant, and I guess maybe Scyther, barring that he doesn't have like any like shit to hit me super effective or do a lot of damage. Willow, Shadow Sneak, mainly is for priority and get some decent damage off. Snarl, because I knew it would probably either be coming up against the Melodic or something, special attacker, and for the Magneton mostly, because I know I can at least eat 2 or 3 Thunderbolts depending on what he is, if he's max special attack or anything like that, and actually get a few Snarls off and start Pain Split and get some damage on that thing. Pain Split for recovery, and the what was it? Snarl, Willow, Shadow Sneak, and Pain Split. Choice Banded Arcanine, the poop dog coming through this week, bringing the pretty much standard set, Adamant, choice banded. I actually wanted to hit as hard as I could with this thing. Thus why running adamant. Bringing the close combat, which actually pretty much obliterated the Magneton along with Flare Blitz. Flare Blitz, close combat, extreme speed, just for that priority. I can always log myself into Bandit E speed towards the end of the game, pick up a few kills if I needed to. And the Crunch, mainly for the Trevenant, and most of the Jirachi, if I can try hitting it on a switch in or something. Bringing in the Swellow. Swellow did do a decent amount of work, I guess barring, Magneton, which pretty much counters it. Again, really struggling with Magneton in this match. Pretty much standard set. I think it's the set we actually brought last week. Trump for Perez. Guts, Flame Orb, Protect, U-Turn, Brave Bird, and the Facade. That and outspeed the Garchomp and stuff like that. Pretty big threats I can get a lot of damage off on. Probably the only counter, maybe bulky Garchomp, which can then probably kill me in return with Rock Slide or Dragon Claw. So, defensive Skarmory, running the Stealth Rock, Roost, Defog, and I think it was Whirlwind. I think Whirlwind, Stealth Rock, Roost, and Defog. I think that was my set because apart from Scyther, my opponent does not have any hazard removal. The only thing he has is Defog Scyther, so I wanted to kind of take advantage of that. Maybe that's another reason why he brought Scyther, because of Defog. Kind of want to take advantage of that, set up the rock, start whirlwinding shit out. He really had nothing to really touch me except maybe Fire Punch, Jirachi, Fire Blast, Garchomp, and again Magneton. Special offensive Manaphy with the Wakan Berry, because I knew I was going to be coming up against the Magneton sooner or later. Running it was kind of a debatable set. I was going to run Ice Beam originally, but I needed to really have the Wakan Berry so I can at least take on the Magnezone, or not the Magneton. Otherwise, if it was actually Specs, I pretty much one-shotted me. It was like 1 or 2% away from like one-hit KO if he was like Specs. That's how powerful it actually is. I think that was if he was analytic as well. I'm not quite sure. Running the debatable set of Rain Dance, Scald, Energy Ball for the Milotic, just basically only the Milotic because I knew he was going to come into a Stall War with that, and I wanted to be able to at least hit it for super effective damage. Even though he probably had the Mirror Coat, which was something I was expecting as well. Maybe if I would have ran a sub Tail Glow set would have probably been the best to run with in this match. He really didn't have too many counters to that, except maybe the Milotic, but if I would have had Energy Ball, that thing would have been destroyed. So, what was it? Rain Dance, Scald, Energy Ball, and the rest on this set. I'm going to hop right into the battle because I've been rambling on too long. I do apologize, guys, but going to lead with my Spiritomb here. There was really nothing I really wanted to lead with. I knew he was going to lead with the Magnezone because it basically switches out freely against me. He's going to go for the Volt Switch here. I can at least take one Volt Switch, and judging by this damage, he is not Choice Specs, so that at least is something good to know. He could probably be a Eviolite set or something of that nature, but judging by the damage as well, he's actually fully invested in special attack, pretty much. Gonna go for the Willow here because he really had nothing that wanted to take a Willow. The only thing that really did was Milotic as he goes into it right here. I do activate the Marvel Scale, but I really did not care about the Marvel Scale because I really did not have too much for this thing. Apart, I guess, Energy Ball on the oh shit, I forgot to go over Cresselia. Cresselia is actually a Choice Scarf set this week, guys. Word of advice, don't run Choice Scarf Cresselia. I was actually running Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, Side Shock, and the Ice Beam on Cresselia. Choice Scarf, just to show, maybe throw him off guard. That's really what I was running on Cresselia this week, so I know I forgot to actually go over that. I do apologize, but just going over a Snarl here. He's going to recover, kind of straightforward, but I do get a shitload of HP back here with a Pain Split, which is very, very nice. Bringing that Pain Split, get a decent amount of HP back, pretty much brings me up to full. One of the downfalls of Spiritomb is it has a super low HP stat, which kind of does suck, but it will a certain amount of Mons, and it is a spin blocker, so it's pretty versatile in that way, and it's actually a pretty good staller. Stalls a lot of things out if you can't really hit it for super effective damage. Gonna switch out here, go into Manaphy, hoping to at least set up the rain or at least get an energy ball off here. He's gonna go for the Scald. Right here is that crucial play because this is actually the second time we actually went through this match. On the first time before the DC, he did not get a burn. I did have the rest, so that's why we did go through with this, but burn in the end is probably gonna screw me. It does screw me over in the end, which you guys will see in a little bit, but the burn is kind of crucial there. It did not happen the first time we actually went through this match naturally without before the DC. So actually going to predict actually the Magneton to come out here. He actually goes out into the Drapion here. By the way, I actually sent it into it. Might be offensive or it could be Scarfed. I wasn't quite sure. I'm going to go for that Choice Band of Flare Blitz here. Blow this thing back. If it was offensive, it actually would have killed. So he is actually a defensive Drapion here. Going to go for the knockoff. Get rid of my Choice Band, which kind of does suck, but at least give me the able to actually switch up my moves now, which I was kind of fine with as well. Gonna switch out here, go right out into Spiritomb. I knew he was probably going to keep this thing around, just because it can slowly recover on a lot of my mons with the Black Sludge. He's going to go right out into Melodic again. This thing is getting slowly dwindled down, but it does have the recover, and there's really nothing I can do to stop it from recovering. Even if I did have the taunt, I'm slower than this thing, so that really does nothing for me. Pretty much at full here, though. I'm just going to go for the Snarl. There's really no other play I could really do here other than to Snarl. He is faster, so even again, if I did even have the taunt, wouldn't matter because you can sit recover the whole time. So I'm going to go for the Snarl, make that switch set go down by one stage, so we can at least take Scalds and stuff like that a little bit better, and maybe get a better switch in to this thing. Burn is slowly taking him down. He's actually going to switch out right here. Going to go right out into the Trevenant here. I'm not quite sure why. If I would have stayed in right there and actually got his Snarl off, that probably would have actually broke his Citrus. So, depending on his set, if he was like bulky or stuff like that, it would have probably broke his Citrus. At this point in the match, I didn't know what kind of set he was. Gonna go out into Manaphy here. That's bad for me. I'm gonna go out actually predicting a Will-O-Wisp or a Leech Seed, or a Shadow Cloud in that nature. And he's gonna go for the sub right here. So, judging by this, he's a sub Leech Seed set, which isn't really surprising because I'm assuming he's actually Citrus as well. You usually don't run Lum on these kind of sets because of the sub. So I'm assuming he's Citrus, Trevenant. Going to go for the U-turn there, actually get my burn off for free, which is nice. Get a free switch in and actually get the burn off. So, going to go right out into the Skarmory here. He actually goes to the Leech Seed and actually misses, which is nice. Going to predict the Magneton to come in right here. Going to go right out into the Arcanine here. Now, at this point, I do not know that his Magneton is Choice Scarfed. So I'm assuming I'm going to be able to outspeed on this next turn here. My opponent, though, actually throwing me off guard and actually brings the Choice Scarf Magneton. So props to my opponent actually bringing Choice Scarf, throwing me off guard and actually costing me my Arcanine right here, which is pretty big because it completely destroys the Drapion from the range it was at, and it completely destroys the Trevenant. So kind of a big threat gone there, losing my Arcanine kind of early in the match. You can go to Spiritomb here. I really had no switch in for this thing. I could have went out into Manaphy as well, but really didn't want to do it. My opponent actually is Lumberry. I was wondering why I really did stay in here. If he wanted to really risk his Garchomp, I'm just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp. He is Lum, so props to my opponent actually bringing Lum Garchomp. He did not want to risk this thing because it puts in a lot of work against my team late game. Going to go for the Snarl here, make a good play as he does go into his Milotic, so I'm able to get that Snarl off, a little bit of chip damage, and the -1 special attack drop. Spiritomb did put in a lot of work in this match, even though it kind of got shut down towards the end of the match by Drapion. But Spiritomb, probably the MVP of this match, putting a lot of pressure on my opponent's team. So props to Spiritomb putting in the work. One of the reasons why I did draft it. He's going to go out into the Drapion here. I'm going to switch out, actually, predicting the either the Garchomp or the Manaphy, or not the Manaphy, the Trevenant actually want to come in. Actually get a leech seed off or something like that. Gonna go into Manaphy here. At this point, I cannot take a knockoff at this range, so I can barely take a knockoff and I can set the rain, but I'll pretty much die to burn. Going to switch out here, going to go out into Useless Moron, take the knockoff. This thing was pretty much useless at this point. I just really need to get my rocks up. Maybe force a defog so I can get rid of my rocks as well. Could have defogged right here as well, but I really didn't want to. I knew he was probably going to go out into the Magneton, or he probably could have stayed in predicting my switch, which was one of the possibilities I did think of. Just going to set my rocks there. It brings the Scyther down to 50% at least upon switching, so that's always nice. And if he wants to Volt Switch around, he's going to be taking damage for it. So Useless Moron going down here. Skarmory did not do too much this week. Really got shut down by the Magneton. So again, these electric types, I don't know. We really have no solid switch into the electric types. I don't know. Gonna have to really dip into the free agency and maybe make a few trades with coaches here, because I need to fix this immediately, especially in the next few weeks here. I need to really get a solid response to some of my weaknesses in my draft. So he actually has the taunt. I really didn't expect him to have the taunt, to be honest. I don't know why, but he actually has the taunt. So Spiritomb is basically useless against this thing. Thus the reason probably why he keeps keeping this thing around. So good play by my opponent keeping this thing around for the Spiritomb. I'm taunted now, so I cannot absolutely touch this thing. I have Shadow Sneak and Snarl, which isn't going to be doing absolutely nothing to this thing. I'm going to go into Manaphy here. I do take the knockoff. However, right here is where the burn actually comes in clutch, because my opponent actually does get the burn on this replay through this match or after the DC as we replayed this. The burn does come in clutch here. I'm not quite sure if I would outsped. I could have got a rest off, basically. I guess maybe a rest, but I really would have no way to wake myself up if I did not have the rain up. So kind of a questionable, status there. Could have possibly got the rest off, but he could have got a free switch into the Trevenant and stuff like that. So not quite sure. I was probably gonna go down either way, but burn did take me out. I'm gonna go for the Brave Bird. I have really no switch in for this thing. Nothing to really take this thing out at this point. I got it low enough to where Grassy can at least come in with an Ice Beam and pick this thing off, which it was a really close roll as well. It did like 28 to like 33%, and my opponent's right around that range, so I was hoping not to get a low roll here. We actually pick up a high roll and actually end up taking this thing out. So Choice Scarf for Celia. My opponent at this point thinks I'm actually probably max speed, so thus the play is he actually going to do here. He's actually going to go into his Scyther. So with these rocks up, it actually does matter, because if without the rocks, Ice Beam would not have killed this thing. I do bring it down to so far it's a 5-1 right now. Ice Beam doesn't even kill, and it's 4 times effective, guys. Word of advice, don't run Choice Scarf Cresselia. It's a piece of shit. Only reason why I ran it is maybe to catch my opponent off guard. Bug Bite, we actually leave a Bug Bite, which I was really surprised. We're able to pick off the Scyther. At this point, he knows I'm Choice Scarfed. He's going to go out into his Magneton, which does outspeed me. Going to pick me off with the Choice Scarf Thunderbolt here. At this point, all I have left is Spiritomb. Grassy at least took out 2 Mons. It took out the Drapion and took out the Scyther, which none of my other Mons took out anything yet. So Grassy at least putting in some decent work, catching my opponent off guard, thinking I was just max speed. Thus, probably the reason why he went out into Scyther. Even Ice Beam, 4 times effective though, did not even kill from 50%. I was like, holy shit, Grassy, you're so weak. Can't believe that base 75 special attack though, I guess. Even that was max special attack, modest nature, guys. I was like, holy shit, Grassy, you're a weak piece of shit. Stick to being defensive, alright. Gonna go for the Snarl. My opponent actually gets a high roll right here. Actually ends up taking me out. It was actually a matter of a roll. He does get the high roll right there and actually takes me out. Otherwise, I would have got a Pit's Pain split off, and possibly maybe a Shadow Sneak would have took it out. I'm not quite sure, but GG to my opponent. We actually brought it down to a 4-0, which, again, now we're pretty much at neutral for differential. It depends if my division rival is actually going to be winning this week. So far, the only real competition in my division is Attack on Samurott, which we are pretty much the same pretty much the same win-loss ratio right now. Being 2-1. Now we're actually 2-2. So if he loses this match this week, it's going to be pretty much a grudge match next week to see who can get ahead in the division. As we go against Attack on Samurott next week. Again, another super threatening draft. I don't know. I'm gonna have to pull shit out of my ass and prepare for his draft because he has a lot of threats. Other than that, though, hope you guys did enjoy. We brought it down to 4-0, which, again, my opponent plays super good. There's a reason why he's undefeated. He has an insane draft. He actually plays it very, very well. Again, he had a super good type advantage against our draft as well. So, can't blame myself. I prepared as best I could. Maybe a few things I could have did differently. But other than that, though, hope you guys enjoy this. Grassy plains Raikous are now 2-2. Hoping to pick up a huge win next week over Attack on Samurai. It's going to be one of those grudge matches. Two division rivals right now. I think he's one differential point behind me, so we are in the top of our division right now. But after this match, it's all going to depend on who wins and who loses in the division this week. So, other than that, though, hope you guys enjoy this. Feel free to drop a like down below, and if you are new, subscribe as well. Hoping to go in next week, pick up a victory, a well-needed victory. I'm going to prepare very, very well as well, and maybe dip into the free agency and stuff like that. Maybe to fix a few things on my draft that I have been experiencing problems with. So, other than that, though, hope you guys enjoy. See you guys next time.